Hello, my name is Nicholas Keppel. I'm a student in Austria at the International Theological Institute. I study marriage and family, and specifically I focus on the theology of the body by St. John Paul II. So in this catechesis, John Paul II refers to the words of Christ, and when Jesus speaks to the Pharisees, Jesus refers to the beginning, to the creation of the world. And this is where John Paul II takes his starting point from. So he'll go back to Genesis to say, what does Genesis say? What does Genesis reveal about man? Seeking an anthropology. What does Genesis reveal about anthropology? And this is called original man. So there's several topics in original man, and today I want to focus on how John Paul II starts, which is comparing the first two creation accounts in Genesis. So after following Jesus to the beginning, John Paul II analyzes the first creation account, Genesis 1, and the second creation account, Genesis 2. So the first creation account, actually, John Paul says, it was written later than the second one. So even though it comes first, it was written after. The first one is from a priestly source, and it's more of a developed theology in an objective way. It shows the creation of the world in 7 days. And it's referred to as the Elohist account because the word for God is Elohim in Genesis 1. However, in Genesis 2, God is referred to as Yahweh. And so it's called the Yahweh's text, and it's considered to be more of an ancient text. Genesis 2, how it relates to God, how it relates to the story of creation is different than Genesis 1. Genesis 2 is more of a story. It shows events taking place, and it shows God in more of an anthropomorphic way than Genesis 1. So Genesis 2 is more ancient, and it has these features that are different. So John Paul II says that Genesis 1, the first creation account, could be considered more objective. It gives the objective truth. And Genesis 2 gives a more subjective account of creation. Genesis 2 allows us to enter into the subjective experience of the first man and the first woman, of Adam and Eve. It allows us to enter into their mind, into their person, their subjective experience in a way that Genesis 2 does not allow. They both express the truth, the same truth of creation, but in a different way, in a different light. And so when John Paul II analyzes this, he draws out different insights from Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 in explaining the theology of the body.